That's why we dropped the ones. There we go. We should be good. The microphone wasn't on, but we're good now. Welcome, y'all. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're back at it. Back here for another YouTube live stream. Welcome back to the show. I'm looking forward to having some conversation with y'all, talking about some crazy news that's going on. Obviously, we're going to spend most of the show talking about what's going on with Nancy Guthrie. If you don't know who Nancy Guthrie is, it is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, who has seemingly just disappeared out of nowhere for reasons that no one knows. There's blood at the scene. There's an alleged abduction. We're going to get into that shortly. We're going to start off the show by hearing again from Don Lemon. He did an interview after this whole church fiasco. And of course, I know y'all want to hear about it, and we're going to talk about it on the show as well. But before we get into it, I've got to say what's up to the people, man. Shout out to everybody who's in here. Of course, we've got my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E. Shout out to Amy E in the building. Showing love. Good to see you in here, Amy. I love you and I appreciate you. As always, we got Les Cleaver in here, hardest working guy I know. A Fitz is in the building. We've got Virginia Wiley is in here. We got Taco Tuesday is in the building. It's your day. Jay Buckmaster's in here, as well as Tanya Johnson. Thank y'all for being in the building. I will be saying good morning, good afternoon to you all as we go throughout the show. I do have a favor to ask though. If you haven't done it yet, please make sure you like the video on your way in. Likes are free, helps the channel continue to grow. It lets the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying the show. It shares the video, the channel, and this live stream with more people. So thank you to everyone that has liked the video so far. Y'all really help the channel out, help us continue to grow, and it takes less than a second to do. So thank y'all for doing that. Also, if you're feeling extra generous, you can share the video as well. Just click the share button. It's got an arrow that's curved pointing to the right. Excuse me. That'll allow you to share the video not only to any social media platform you're on, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, or X, but you can also share the video to someone in maybe a group chat you're in via text message, or you can send it to someone individually. So thank you to those of you who do that. I also will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show as well. So thank you to everyone who goes the extra mile and sends in super chats to support the show. We appreciate you helping keep the lights on here. And so many of y'all, not only are you members, but you continue to drop the super chats in there as well. I know CPE dropped the 10 bomb on the Cash App. I don't know if he was here or not when I mentioned that, but thank you again. And shout out to CPE for dropping the support. He didn't even say any comment. He didn't leave a comment at all. He just said, here you go, brother. I'm helping keeping the lights on. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We're going to go ahead and get into it. Again, if you haven't yet, please make sure y'all like the video, and we will go ahead and get into the show. Now, oh man, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to try and give Don Lemon a little bit of a break here because say what you will. Yes, Don Lemon had to be arrested. Yes, Don Lemon is facing a lot of scrutiny from me, especially, and from a lot of you who are here on this channel, but he is getting the most publicity he's gotten since he got fired. Let's be honest. So this man is out there. He's on a press run. He's being uplifted by the entire entertainment community. Even several people in the legal field are supporting him because they feel like he was just there as a journalist. I'm saying that's BS. He is not there as a journalist, and we're going to talk about it more here in a second. He did his first interview with Jimmy Kimmel, who is again has been the target of not only the Department of Justice, but the President of the United States for some of the things that he said. And of course, it was only right that Don Lemon went into his platform to talk about what happened. So again, I'll give you guys some context because Lord knows Don Lemon and Jimmy Kimmel aren't going to give you that throughout this interview, but we'll hear what Don has to say about this. Check it out.
I hope you're okay. I hope you're mentally okay after what happened to you. How are you?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, that's a really that's an honest answer. I don't know. I mean, I'm okay, but I'm not going to let them steal my joy. But this is very serious. I mean, these are federal criminal charges.
Yeah, and time in prison can change a man, even if it's just one night.
Yeah, well, not yet. Don't get ahead of yourself, Jimmy. It's not prison yet.
So for anyone who doesn't know, you are not a favorite of Donald Trump's.
No.
Going back to your days at CNN.
Of course they're making
You're not on his top 10 list.
But he says he doesn't know me. He says, I don't know who he is.
He doesn't know who you are, but he doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Okay? And on January 18th, is that correct? You were covering a protest at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota, an anti-ICE protest. Apparently there was a pastor at the church who's also a local ICE official, which is, I think, just as Jesus would want. And
again, we're misrepresenting the fact. I'm going to interrupt this thing as much as I want to. Because when the facts are misrepresented, I have to call it out. The pastor wasn't even there at the church. The guy they were looking for wasn't even there. So this clandestine operation was a bust because the guy they were looking for wasn't even at the church at the time. So again, not a fact. Nice try, Jimmy.
I believe we have some B-roll. Protesters interrupted the Sunday service, and you followed them in. You interviewed various people in the church.
Nikema, Armstrong, Chantel, the pastor.
And afterward, you were arrested. Now, first I want to ask you, is there a difference between whether those protesters had the right to go into a church and whether a credentialed journalist like yourself had the right to go in and cover them going into the church?
That's a good question.
Well, listen, obviously I'm in the middle of this, so I can't say a lot. There's a lot that I cannot say, but what I will say is that I'm not a protester. I went there to be a journalist. I went there to...
Stop the cap.
What? Bro. No. I'm going to play the tape. Y'all know I've got it queued up.
Chronicle and document and record what was happening. I was following that one group around, and so that's what I did. I reported on them. And so, but I do think that there is a difference between a protester and a journalist.
So again, now Don Lemon, respectably so, is distancing himself from the protester, saying, guys, hey, me and Nikema were cool. She told me all the details of this clandestine operation. And I said, we. But listen, I was just a journalist. Tell me if this sounds like just a journalist.
Let me do this.
I got to do it, Don.
It's okay, I got it. Just park. Just hit park. Twitch, we're back.
Sunday morning church.
Yeah, okay, we'll see. After we do this operation, you'll see it live. And these operations are surprise.
After we do this operation.
You'll see it live. And these operations are surprise operations. Again, I can't tell you where they're going. Okay, so I am going inside now. Where's my phone? I need my phone. Hey, Meta, record. So activists are now in the church. This is what the First Amendment is about the freedom to protest. I'm sure people here don't like it, but protests are not comfortable. And there are people here who are, I'm looking at a young man who's in the corner. He's frightened, he's scared, he's crying. People are leaving church. One of the members who looks to be really upset, a young person, the pastor is trying to calm him down over there. Perhaps they should come in, pray together, and talk together. But anyways, if I were the pastor, I would offer a prayer. I would try to calm things down and say, listen, talk to you. We're all citizens. We're all believers and Christians.
He said
it may look like MAGA coded, but there's a reason they have so many white people here. I'm just going to be honest. It's because of the operation that they're doing today. It's important to have allies, as they said, white allies here. So
it's just a journalist.
That is what I could say. I turned our camera off of them because they're giving some critical information here. But there we go. Everybody's ready to go.
I turned the camera off because they're giving some critical information. Just a journalist, guys. No, can't give up the information. So I'm going to have selective journalism, not report everything. Okay.
I don't necessarily agree with everything that's going on in the Twin Cities right now, but I don't think it's good to fight fire with fire. I think it's good to speak up, and I think it's good to protest, but I think it's better to do it in a peaceful way. I don't think the answer is going into God's church.
You don't think this is peaceful?
Well, it's trespass.
Nobody fighting.
It's trespass.
I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
It's illegal.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live there's a Constitution and the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest. I'm surprised that law enforcement has not showed up yet. We're going to take you outside of the church. What do you think of this?
There's a harmless Christian here that wants to...
So again, I'm going to go back to the interview, but I wanted to play that to give the context that is clearly lacking from this interview, because Don Lemon, again, wants to play the victim, wants to say, I'm just a journalist, I was just there. You know, I was hiding information about this clandestine operation, but, you know, just a journalist, guys.
Next day, Trump reposts something from someone saying that you should be arrested, you should be sentenced in prison for violating the FACE Act.
He should.
And at this point, are you thinking, I might get arrested?
Well, not until they started, the drip, drip, drip of people starting to talk about it. I think Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi and all those folks talked about it. And here's the interesting thing, though, is that after that, I retained an attorney. Mm-hmm. And the attorney reached out to them and said, basically, I understand that you have an interest because your folks have been talking about it. And so if you are serious about this, then let's do it the right way. He's perfectly willing to self-report it, which means turn yourself in. And so we don't have to go through this whole rigmarole. And never heard back from them.
No. You should have thought about that before you walked up into the church, Don. You don't get to say, hey, God, I know I was in the church cutting up and stuff, but can we just have a conversation behind closed doors? Nope. I'm going to put you on front stage and I'm going to make a statement and say, listen, everybody, you need to know and understand. This violates the Constitution. Don Lemon and these protesters were violating their constitutional rights. They're going to be made an example of, as they should.
That is customary in a situation like this, that someone would be allowed to turn themselves in.
Yeah, people who are accused of much worse things than I am accused of doing is they are allowed the courtesy. I mean, Donald Trump was allowed the courtesy to turn himself in when he was.
That's right.
He did, yeah.
And so then the DOJ goes around and tries to find, and correct me if I have any of this wrong, some judges to charge you. And the judges say, no, we're not going to do that.
I think it was two different judges and an appeals court. I think so. It was 3 altogether.
And then they find...
Again, wrong. We reviewed the document. I showed it to you guys here ad nauseum. What the judge actually said. The judge actually said, hey, there's probable cause here, but you guys have to go and take this to a grand jury. There are other ways that you could get this arrest. I'm not the one to make that decision. That's the only reason the judge said no, not because Don Lemon's innocent. Again, I'm not going to let you guys do this. We're talking about facts here. This is anything personal against Don Lemon. This is just the facts. So if you're gonna tell a story that's not true, I gotta bring it up. Sorry.
And a grand jury.
Right.
And are you familiar with how that happens? Like, how do they find this group of people who are willing to bring charges against you?
I don't know. I'm not that, astute with it, but at least I don't know the process that well because I'm not an attorney. But, I assume that they figure out who the folks are and they send it to them. And then they write up the indictment as to what they want charged. And then they give it to them. But you can write whatever you want to in an indictment. As I've been doing some research, you can say whatever you want. And for, even if you lie about it, prosecutors can pretty much say what they want with impunity and they don't face any sort of consequences.
The activists who went into the church were arrested, and you were arrested. Georgia Fort, who's a local journalist in Minnesota, was also arrested along with you. Yeah. And how is she doing? I assume you're in close touch with her?
I'm not in contact with her.
You're not?
I cannot be at this point.
Okay, you cannot be? Oh, interesting. Right. Okay. So take us through what happened. It was Thursday night when they came to get you, right? Okay.
When they got me.
You're here in L.A.
When the Popo came. Yeah. You got to laugh at something, right? But it's very serious. I had gone to, I was here to cover the Grammys. I was going to do the red carpet. And I had gone to the Black Music Collective event that night, where the importance of Black music and artists and whatever. And the reason I cover it is because of the First Amendment, the freedom of expression, and the art of music is part of that. And then I'd gone to the Spotify party, and it's all young people, and they're like, Mr. Lemon, oh my God, I love watching you on TikTok. And I'm like, wow, that's different than my grandma loves watching you on CNN, so it's a whole new audience. And I got back to the hotel. I walked in I had my swag bag from the thing, and I was walking up to the room, and I pressed the elevator button, and all of a sudden I feel myself being jostled, and people trying to grab me and put me in handcuffs, and I said, what are you doing here? And they said, we came to arrest you. And I said, who are you? And then finally they identified themselves, and I said, if you are who you are, then where's the warrant? And they didn't have a warrant, so they had to wait for someone from outside, an FBI guy, to come in to show me a warrant on a cell phone. And by that time, I was like trying to, figure out what was going on and get my bearings, and they dropped all my stuff. My glasses had fallen on the floor. I'm like, I can't read that. So they had to pick my glasses up, and I read it, and still, what does that mean? So...
Then why'd you ask to see?
It was a bunch of guys, and they took...
He said, I asked to see a warrant because that's something I saw on TikTok. They showed me the warrant, and I didn't know what it meant.
Took me outside. FBI guys were out there. It had to be maybe a dozen people, which is a waste, Jimmy, of resources, because I had told them weeks before, and maybe once or twice, that we would, I think my attorney tried to contact them once, maybe twice. that I could just go in and it would have to be the folks who are just working there that day, and they wouldn't have to have all these people following me around.
It's more than just a waste of resources. So they grab you and they take you where?
Well, you're right about more than just a waste of resources. They want that. They want to embarrass you. They want to intimidate you. They want to instill fear. And so that's why they did it that way.
Good.
They took me down to...
Yeah, I want anybody who violates my constitutional rights, I want them to be afraid. Anyone who tries to encourage or participates in disrupting my freedom to practice my religion, yes, I want them to be afraid to do that. Whatever that looks like, whatever it means, don't do it again.
A holding place in the federal courthouse.
And they give you mugshots, strip search, all of that stuff?
No strip search, but mugshot, fingerprints, the whole 9 yards, twice.
Did they put you in a cell?
I was in a holding room.
You're in a holding room?
Yes.
And how long are you in that holding room?
From about midnight, 12:30 to 1 or so the next day.
Who did you make your one phone call to?
Here's the interesting thing. I didn't have a one phone call. I never had
Wait a minute. I watch a lot of TV.
I know. That's right. I asked them, do I get my one phone call, Jimmy? They said, no, you don't. You get to talk to your attorney whenever the court says that you can. And so that wasn't until the next day. But I tell you how I...
This is federal. These are federal agents. This ain't your local police station. Nah, you leave when we say you can leave.
I got it out. I had my Apple Watch on in my phone. And I called my husband. I said, hey, Siri, call Tim. And he was asleep. I went to his voicemail. And then I said, hey, Siri, call Abby Lowell, who's my attorney, and went to his voicemail. He was traveling back from someplace.
That sucks.
And
need to get
finally I got into the front of an FBI agent's truck, and they had the handcuffs on me. And my bracelet, I had on a bracelet that my husband bought me for our wedding, which was this diamond bracelet, and it kept getting caught. And it was kind of hurting, and they said they'd take it off. And I said, do you mind taking that up to my husband in room blah, 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 blah. And one of the FBI agents said, sure, and took it up, and that's how my husband found out. Otherwise, no one would have known where I was.
Wow. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Don Lemon.
Yeah, that story is wild. Anyway, don't feel sorry for this guy. I want to call him another name, but I won't because, again, the jury is still, pun intended, out on this one. I want to know what you guys think about this situation. Don Lemon playing the victim. I have to show this document again because we got to show the facts. And I'm really tired of a lot of these guys, Jimmy Kimmel, Don Lemon, leaving out certain facts. And we read this document. What did the judge say? I would deny the emergency petition with prejudice on the basis that while the district court has acknowledged it has authority to review the magistrate's refusal to sign the warrants, a judge court may reconsider a pretrial matter under this subparagraph. The complaint and affidavit clearly establish probable cause for all 5 warrants. I'll read it one more time just so Jimmy and Don Lemon can stop leaving this fact out. The complaint and affidavit clearly establish probable cause for all 5 arrest warrants. There's probable cause. He should have been arrested. Why didn't the judge arrest him? Well, we'll keep reading. And while there is no discretion to refuse to issue an arrest warrant once probable cause for this issuance has been shown, which the judge just agreed that it has, the government has failed to establish that it has no other adequate means of obtaining the requested relief. The judge just said, listen, this guy should have been locked up, but it's not my decision. You need to go through other adequate means of obtaining the requested relief. It should be simple, guys. Just loop that 2-minute video, Don Lemon kissing Nakima Armstrong and saying that we're going to do this operation. You should be fine. A grand jury will raise their hands and say, yes, we think most likely that Don Lemon was a part of this clandestine operation. We're going to keep talking about this. And as the lies continue to grow, the truth will grow even stronger. Let me know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. Shout out to the gang in here. We got 6,000 of you amazing folks in the building. Please like the video. Likes are free. And I'm going to keep begging until I am no longer on YouTube, which is going to be a long time from now. So y'all going to get sick of me begging, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm tired of talking about Don Lemon at this point, but hey, listen, with everything that's going on, we have to continue to talk about this. And the reason I think this situation is so important is because I think about these people storming into that church and interrupting this church service, and how, although it's highly unlikely that could have been my church that this happened at, or that they tried something at, and this could have been a church that my family was at. And I can't imagine how that would affect them being at a place where they believe they're protected, they're safe, and they're free, and then it being interrupted and disrupted and being intimidated by these clowns. It's sad, man. It's unfortunate. And we're going to continue to address it, especially if they keep lying like this. All right, let me go ahead and get into our next topic. Thank you again to everybody that's in here. Thank y'all for liking the video and showing love. I appreciate it. And it helps us out a lot too. So thank you so much. Let me see what y'all are saying in the chat. Amy said, now, Don knew something was going down. You chose to go there and film it, and you didn't want to say much because you didn't want anyone to mess up the plans. He was thinking about those numbers. He said, man, boy, this is going to be great. They're going to be talking about me forever. And now he's getting exclusive interviews with Jimmy Kimmel. Of course, we know Jimmy, he was going to be all over this from the beginning anyway, just because of his history with the president of the United States and this entire Department of Justice. But nonetheless, it doesn't surprise me at all. And here we are. So let's get into this next topic. This situation with Savannah Guthrie and her mother, Nancy Guthrie, is insane. We're going to talk about it here in a minute, give you guys some details about what's going on, and also some breaking news about what was found at the alleged crime scene where Savannah Guthrie's mother disappeared from. We're going to play this post from the New York Post, and then we're going to look into some video that's going to give a lot more background on what's going on with Savannah Guthrie's mom just disappearing. If you guys don't know, if you haven't heard the news, basically in the middle of the night, late at night, this poor woman, Nancy Guthrie, was sitting in her home, and allegedly she went missing. They didn't know where she was. They didn't know what happened to her. Then there has been some investigation into how she disappeared and what could have happened. And we're going to find out what's going on from the New York Post here. Blood was found in Savannah Guthrie's missing mom's house, which showed signs of forced entry. Crazy. Blood was found in the home of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie's missing 84-year-old mom, with the local sheriff confirming that authorities fear a possible kidnapping or abduction. The blood was found alongside signs of forced entry and a struggle in the house in the Catalina Hills, Arizona, law enforcement sources told the Post. It was not immediately confirmed whose blood it was. Nancy Guthrie, whom Savannah calls her best friend, was reported missing on Sunday, hours after returning from dinner the night before. At this point, investigators believe she was taken from her home against her will and possibly in the middle of the night. Pima County Sheriff's Department spokesperson Kevin Adger, hopefully I said that right, confirmed to the LA paper. Detectives are looking into possible kidnapping or abduction. Police also announced a $2,500 reward while asking for images, videos, or details that lead to the alleged abductor's arrest. And with these types of cases, time is of the essence. Why it would be this woman, I don't know. We're going to hear from the Sheriff's Department here in a second. Police also announced, I read that already. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos appealed directly to anyone involved. Just call us, let her go. Just call us. The family will tell you. There's no questions asked here, he told NBC News. Interesting. We don't need another bad, tragic ending. God, that's a wild thing to say. I mean, do they have a feeling that something else is going on here? DNA evidence found that the home is being combed over, according to KVOA. Nancy Guthrie left her car and cell phone at the scene, according to investigators who hope data from the phone might help point to when she was snatched, according to ABC News. Nancy was reported missing on noon on Sunday after failing to show up for a church service. She cannot walk more than 50 yards on her own and is reliant on life-saving medicine, according to the cops. Dang. The hunt is a race against time because the missing woman needs medication, lack of which for 24 hours could prove fatal. Why did they take her? or what's happened here. We're doing all that we can to locate her. Nano said, every tool we have, we will use. All right, so we're going to hear from the sheriff here in a second, but I want to give you guys some breaking news on this and maybe some more insight into what was found at this, we got to call it a crime scene at this point. It's crazy.
So right now, the search for Savannah Guthrie's missing mother growing more frantic. Guthrie's colleagues at NBC detailing some of the challenges law enforcement are facing.
Clearly, this wasn't a robbery, and this was somebody who was, they tried to abduct this person, they get them out of the house in the middle of the night, it appears. And so, because of the neighborhood, it's not tightly packed. It's within Tucson, but we're not talking about house next to house next to house. So because of the vegetation, because of the terrain, because of the way the layout of the neighborhood, according to the sheriff's office, so far they have not had a lot of luck in getting video. We were talking about yesterday morning, hopefully a neighbor would have a video of a car leaving or somebody in the area. That hasn't been too fruitful so far. So that's proven to be a real challenge.
So meanwhile, law enforcement sources telling the LA Times there was blood found at the 84-year-old's home, which showed signs of a forced entry. Forensic criminologist Dr. Laura Pettler joins us now. Dr. Pettler, thanks so much for joining the program. I want to start there about the blood found at the crime scene, showing that there was some type of struggle. As they processed the scene, what are detectives looking for?
So, good morning, Lawrence. Thank you for having me. Yes, this is a very serious case. And when they're processing the scene, they're going to be wanting to look at every single thing that is normal in the house compared to what would not be normal. So obviously, blood and any kind of forced entry would not be normal. And the way that they're going to do this is by using victimology. They're going to learn everything that they can learn about Nancy Guthrie, and then they are going to compare it to what they're seeing in the scene. It's normal to process for fingerprints, for DNA, for trace evidence, for impression evidence. There's lots of different types of evidence that they can process for in the scene. And then with rapid results and a lot of the technology that we have today, they can get information about various types of evidence pretty quickly.
So Dr. Pettler, before they called the police, they thought that she was just missing. So the family went back to the home.
That's so sad,
They could have unintentionally contaminated the scene. What do investigators do in those type of situations?
Unfortunately, that is normal. You know, a family member that is frantically looking for a missing family member, the first thought is not usually, oh my goodness, my family member has been abducted. Then the first thought is maybe the person is injured or the person has fallen ill in the home, especially when you're dealing with elderly care. So the fact that they were in there and that they tried to locate her will be taken into account by investigators, and they can use samples to rule out contamination and try to mitigate and limit the effect of any potential contamination that was unintentionally done by family members who are looking for her.
Dr. Pettler, our technology has become so advanced, and
they should be able to find her.
Surveillance, we rely on that in a lot of investigations, especially with the new AI technology that can really track vehicle movement, when and where, how many times they cross a certain path. But investigators are saying, according to some reports, that it's been difficult to get video surveillance in that community because of the layout. What can they do to jump those hurdles?
So luckily, the FBI is tremendous in their digital evidence resources and their research. They have the best people in the world.
That's good the FBI is on this.
Their resources trump any local resources. So the fact that the local, the sheriff's office has brought in all of these other agencies is to benefit this case. It's really going to make a huge difference because all the digital evidence is trackable. But there are limitations, as you mentioned, from the terrain, from the climate, from the mountains, the geography, and they can just do the very best that they can with what they have available and try to use other evidence to fill in some gaps. And a lot of times that's very common in these types of situations.
Well, thank God the FBI is involved, because especially with this being of the essence, they really need to do as much as they can to find this poor woman. Let's hear from the sheriff and find out what information they have and what they're planning on doing moving forward. Y'all pray for this family and stuff.
Yesterday, we got a call to the Guthrie residence that Nancy Guthrie, 84 years old, was missing. We expended a lot of resources for a missing person that we typically always do. Our search and rescue volunteers resources for a missing person that we typically always do. Our search and rescue volunteers, our search and rescue teams, other agencies, Borstar from Border Patrol sent their canines out. They worked tirelessly all day yesterday and all day tonight. I'm sorry, all day yesterday and all last night.
This is scary, man. I can't imagine it being
to no event.
My grandmother.
As I said yesterday,
or mother.
We saw some things at the home that were concerning to us. We believe now, after we processed that crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime.
Dang.
And we're asking the community's help. This community has always stepped up to help us solve some pretty tough crimes. I'm looking for that again. This is a 84-year-old lady who suffers from some physical ailments, has some physical challenges, is in need of medication. Medication that if she doesn't have in 24 hours, it could be fatal. So we make a plea to anyone who knows anything about this, who has seen something, heard something, to contact us. Call 911. We don't need another bad, tragic ending. We need some help.
Dang, I'm not gonna lie. That's a wild thing to say. Can you imagine the family watching that and hearing this? Like, don't even say that, dude. Come on, bro.
Team is the best. I couldn't speak any higher. I think you know that. We have done some great work with our partners in the Valley. You know, this community, I have to give a lot of thanks to our law enforcement agencies all across this valley, whether it's the Tucson Police Department or some of the smaller agencies. They've all reached out. They've all offered to assist. The FBI, all of them. We work so close with them, and they are all plugged in. We'll continue to work closely with them. But what I really need is I need this community to step up and start giving us some calls. Let us know if you've seen something.
Help a brother out.
We are right now at a time, and I apologize, everybody tells me I talk too softly. We are at a time where, in this investigation, we're now moving forward, where we need to depend on technology. You know, our license plate readers, our camera systems throughout the community, anything, everything. And we will download all that data we have from the home, from different pieces of technology we've gotten, and we will use that to our advantage. But the reason I bring this up is that, you know, I'm a cop. I hate politics. But I have to remind our political leaders that they need to quit this banter of every time law enforcement leaders come to you for a need, that you give up these ridiculous remarks about how it's going to be misused. AI is a bad, evil word. The cameras are very bad and evil. I'm tired of that. Those tools in the right hands, with the right minds and the right approaches, are extremely valuable to solving crimes just like this. We need that. We need more staffing. We need a lot of things. But what I really need is I need the community's help with this. So I want to make sure before I take any questions, it is a crime scene. We know that. She needs her daily medication. That's the biggest part of this. And anybody that sees anything that even looks, hey, maybe that's her, just take a quick picture. Take a video, send it to us. The number is real easy here locally. It's 911. You can contact our 88 crime and remain anonymous. You can call me, anybody. I am here to take any questions you may have. It will be a little limited. I apologize for that, but we do have a crime that we need to protect its integrity. I have here Sergeant David Stivers from our homicide team.
Man, they need to find this woman.
Bear with us if we are a little bit fuzzy in our answers or responses, but we're both here for any questions you may have. Let's start, please.
Recognize your limitations, but can you elaborate at all on what makes you believe it's a crime scene as opposed to someone who left home and just
blood?
Well, I think I told you she is very limited in her mobility, right? We know she didn't just walk out of there. That we know. There are other things at the scene that indicate there was she did not leave on her own. We know that.
If you're talking about plate readers, is there a vehicle associated with it?
When I told you we're now at the phase where we're looking at all the technology, all of that is being evaluated as we speak. Let me say this: We've not just thrown our search and rescue team out there. They are going to be doing some door-to-door with our criminal investigation team. It is not just our homicide unit. All of our criminal investigation detectives. I went out last night to the scene. There were probably 100 cars out there, all from the sheriff's department, all working this case. It takes a lot of manpower and a lot of energy. This team of mine worked throughout the night. They continue to work. David's had zero sleep, but he and his team are working as hard as they can.
Is there anybody else associated with her, a caregiver, family member, acquaintance, who is also missing in some of your...
No. The family, all of the family has been very cooperative with us. They're working with us. They're staying in touch with us. They have complete access to anybody on this department. Savannah has been in touch with us as well. Our hearts go out to them. This is their mom. She's, just a great lady from what I've heard. And I feel for the family. We just want to find her and bring her back safe.
Sheriff, you mentioned that she didn't just walk out, but is there any additional information that you can give us on what may have alluded to this being a crime scene?
I wish I could. I really do. I know that everybody wants to know certain things, but I can't do that it would be inappropriate at this time.
Wow.
I again don't want to get into that. David, can you see anything here? Do you?
At this time, it's still very active in investigation. There were circumstances on scene that we believe are suspicious in nature, I think is the best way to put it. But we can't really get into a whole lot of details with that.
Do you believe that this was targeted, or they just happened to hit Savannah Guthrie's mom, or if this was just...
Come on. Of course it was.
We look at all of that, but we just don't know that.
I mean, are people really out here abducting old ladies, 84-year-old ladies? Again, why would it be Savannah Guthrie? Again, so many questions to be asked about this. Make sure you pray for the family. This woman does not deserve to die. She doesn't deserve any of this, to be honest. No matter what happened, no matter what she did. And this is a very tragic situation. Hopefully she gets what she needs in the next 24 hours or so when they find her, because, man, medication, you do not want to play with that. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat. And we've got more information coming up for y'all too. Thank you for the love. Over 6,000 of y'all in here. Wow. Y'all are amazing. We're going to give you some more information on what's going on with Savannah Guthrie too. The details that are coming out are interesting. Interesting for sure. I pray they find her safe and sound. Me too. Me too, man. That's got to be so scary. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, I guess you could go to the theories of why this is happening, but I can't imagine that she had anything to do with this. We're going to keep it going. Thank y'all again. If you haven't yet, please make sure that you like the video on your way in. We got 6,000 of y'all in here. We should at least have a few hundred likes in there. I know y'all are working on it, so thank you for the love. To get back into what's going on with Nancy Guthrie, unfortunate situation. This woman seems to have been abducted. They found blood at the scene of the crime. It's now being called a crime where this woman, it appears that she has been taken from her home against her will. Now, tragic and scary and sad thing about this situation is, one, not only could this woman have not left on her own, because according to her family, Savannah Guthrie, namely, she can't travel 50 yards without needing assistance. So she wouldn't have been able to get far. Then we heard from the sheriff's department that they're trying ring camera footage from the area. Haven't been able to find a lot of that because of where she lives, which is wild to me in 2026. And then also, as we know, the crime scene, they found some blood there. It looks to be there was a struggle. She left her phone. She left her keys. I don't know. And we can't really even fathom why they would have picked this woman to take. But we're going to find out more information here. Check it out.
With our hearts, they are so heavy today. Thinking about today's show, co-anchor Savannah Guthrie and her family. Savannah's mother, you've heard this story by now. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, she is still missing at this hour in Arizona. Police believe that she was taken against her will from her home late Saturday or early Sunday morning. They still say they do not have a motive in this case. Now, late last night, Savannah posted a new message to Instagram. Jonathan Bigliotti is covering all of this from Tucson. Jonathan, good morning. This is so scary and so upsetting. What can you tell us?
And Gail, it's a tragedy that deepens with every hour. The sheriff's office escalating their language from abduction to now include kidnapping, which carries the possibility of extortion. It's now been 48 hours since Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home behind me in the middle of the night. 48 hours where she has not had access to life-saving medication. The biggest priority?
It is those cameras at the home.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos says the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, was an act of foul play.
Is it fair for me to characterize this as an abduction?
I believe she was abducted, yes.
Wow.
She didn't walk from there. She didn't go willingly. This is an 84-year-old lady who, in the middle of the night, while she's asleep, is taken from her home.
Guthrie was last seen around 9:45 Saturday night when family dropped her off at her home in Tucson. Then, on Sunday morning, a friend called Guthrie's children, telling them she had not shown up to church. They then notified the sheriff's department around noon that day after not being able to find their mother.
She is very limited in her mobility, right? We know she didn't just walk out of there.
Nanos says finding Guthrie is crucial because she relies on daily medication.
You say it needs to be taken every single day to save her life.
Absolutely.
I mean, the clock is literally ticking. It's been more than 24 hours since she disappeared. Are you concerned that it may be too late before she is found?
Don't say that, man. Why are they saying this BS?
Look, we just want to find her.
Savannah took to her Instagram with this message, calling for everyone to please pray, saying in part, thank you for lifting your prayers with ours for our beloved mom, our dearest Nancy, a woman of deep conviction, a good and faithful servant, and ending the post simply by saying, bring her home.
How is the Guthrie family doing?
They're pretty devastated. They just want their mom home. That's what we want.
And Savannah Guthrie is here in Tucson assisting with the investigation. She has hired her own private security team as it remains unclear if this was a targeted crime, Gail.
Boy, Jonathan, thank you so much.
Wow. So again, the tragic situation. We're gonna hear some more updates on this from Fox. Are y'all are saying there's no audio? There should be audio from this because I can hear it. Hold on a second. Let me double check and make sure. Y'all can't hear. Okay. Hold on. So you guys can hear me. But for some reason you can't hear. Okay. Can y'all drop a one? Drop a one in the chat for me if you can hear right now. Should be able to hear. Get back into what
to depend on technology.
Oh yeah, I can hear it. That must be
to what to depend on technology.
Oh yeah, I can hear it. That must be dang, y'all have me tripping. No, what's going on? All right, let me start this over since y'all didn't hear it.
We're going to begin this morning with our heart.
The audio is fine. I can hear you. We can hear you now. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what was happening there. Okay, we should be good then. So let's get back into the rest of this. So now we're going to hear some more information from Fox on what's happening with this situation, and maybe we can get some insight into what's going down and what potentially could be the reason that this woman disappeared. Here we go.
A Fox News alert. Today Show host Savannah Guthrie speaking out about the disappearance of her mother, who police now believe was kidnapped from her home. Guthrie writing on Instagram, quote, "We believe in prayer. We believe in voices raised in unison, in love and hope. We believe in goodness. We believe in humanity. Above all, we believe in him. We need you. Bring her home." 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was last seen Saturday evening after family members dropped her off at her home in Arizona. Sunday morning, a churchgoer realized Nancy missed service and alerted her family, who then called the police. By Sunday night, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos declared Nancy Guthrie's home a crime scene, and on Monday they confirmed suspicion of a possible abduction.
It is our belief she was removed from that home against her will. We hope. We're racing the clock here. You said that earlier.
Yeah, that's true.
Her meds are important, and the family has told us 24 hours without those meds could be fatal. And here we are at 30+ hours or more.
Former homicide detective Brian Foley joins me now. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. The details here are so concerning because we're talking about somebody who's so extremely vulnerable, and police say they believe that she was abducted from her bed. What stands out to you about the details we know so far?
You know, for the police to say that, they don't say someone was abducted lightly. So they're saying that, you know, as a cop walking into a crime scene, a homicide detective in there, where's the pocketbook? That's the first thing I'm looking at. Moms don't, we all have moms, they don't leave the house without the pocketbook. Is the pocketbook there? Were there valuables taken? Is there signs of forced entry into the home? Is there blood evidence on the scene?
Didn't take her phone,
things,
didn't take her keys.
Certainly a possibility at this point, the way that the police department's talking right now. It's going to be the crime scene's going to have a lot of forensic value, especially taken from the bed. But what gets to me the most is you see across this country historically as a homicide detective, you see elderly people attacked in their home, be it a burglary gone bad, something along those lines where they end up killed. The removal from the home is something you typically don't see with an elderly person. That strikes me.
It doesn't make sense. It seems like this is personal. Even Amy mentioned earlier that she wonders if this may be someone in the family, close to the family, because going through the trouble of taking an old lady doesn't make sense.
As incredibly odd and something to focus on.
So focus on that for us. They haven't said if there was a ransom note or if there could be possible money attached to this, but they did say that they do not believe this was a home invasion or robbery gone wrong. And they also said, Sheriff Nanos also said that they don't believe that Nancy Guthrie was targeted because of her daughter's fame. So what does that lead you to believe, if this was an abduction, about who could have possibly done this and what the motive was?
Family.
Or is.
You can't necessarily ignore the fact of the celebrity connection. But if they're saying that, there's something to give them indication of that. You know, but you always look at what the cops are saying and what they're not saying. Yeah. They're not telling the other elderly folks in that community or in this state there to be careful, to lock your doors, keep your lights on, stay in touch with a loved one. They're not saying that stuff at all right now. So what that tells me is that they have indications that lead them to believe that this is targeted. But at the same time, you know, where are the credit cards? Were there valuables taken? It sounds like there weren't in this case. They'd be saying that there was valuables stolen if that were the case.
Yeah, and when asked what is leading law enforcement to believe that this was a kidnapping, Sheriff Nanos said, and this is a quote, "Something that they told me about the scene made me believe this is more than just a missing person." He also said he talked about how the scene indicated that she was removed against her will. So read into that crime scene for us and give us a sense of what he may be referring to.
Signs of a struggle. End of discussion. There's signs of a struggle. Number one. Number two, you're going to get the family in there. The family is going to be able to look at the home and essentially tell you what's out of place, what's odd, is there something knocked over. These sort of things would never happen. You know, my mother's a very clean person, very orderly, but now there's this disarray in there again. The pocketbook, you know, is there a car? I mean, they're not talking about any of that stuff missing. That does make it seem like it's targeted, possibly somebody that knew of her. Or
so do you think it could have possibly been a caregiver? I feel like that's what a lot of people's minds go to when something like this could have happened, or a family member of somebody who worked at the house.
You know, they're going to look at all those patterns.
Yeah.
What I like to do as a homicide detective, who's out? Who's got out of prison? Who's out of parole? Who has a history of violence? Who are the sex offenders, you know, that have gotten out recently? Kind of look at those patterns too. Connect with the Department of Correction and who's getting out. It could go anywhere right now. We're at post 48 hours now after the crime.
Yes.
Cops are struggling. It's so painful for the family to understand. Plus, there's the medication factor to it too.
Time is
again,
of the essence.
removing an elderly person from the home, that takes effort. That takes planning, and this neighborhood is secluded. It's not like houses are stacked up on top of each other. There's not going to be a lot of ring camera evidence in the immediate area, so it's going going to be a challenge for the police that are there. They did put the homicide team in there. That's great that they got them in there early. You want, the homicide detectives is typically the varsity team. Pima County has a lot of homicides per year that they investigate, so they're going to have that experience to do it. Hopefully they bring in other resources as well at the state level, maybe federal level, just to start doing surveillance.
And final question when it comes
and we now know the FBI is involved in this as well. I mean, again, if you look at the area where that home is, it makes sense that there's not a lot of ring camera footage. They could have gotten out of there pretty easily, in and out of there.
Maybe federal level, just to start doing surveillance.
And final question when it comes to the timeline of all of this, it did feel like that Nancy Guthrie has a community of people and a lot of loved ones surrounding her. She was dropped off by family members at her home on Saturday night, and then churchgoers the next day on Sunday said, she always goes to this mass. She wasn't here, and immediately called a family member who then contacted police. Do you think that that timeline, it wasn't days or weeks, it was less than 12 hours, potentially could help in getting her back?
Hey, hopefully it helps in providing answers. Unfortunately, these things have a history of not ending too well.
Dang, man. Why do they keep saying that?
Our most vulnerable population, and that's why, as humans, we all like to keep an eye on our elderly loved ones.
Hurts my heart.
And hope that, God, something like this never happens. So painful.
Yeah, and that's why.
Dang, it hurts my heart. It sounds like they're preparing for the worst. Again, this woman's almost 90 years old, but nobody wants to see their granny have to go through this. No, I don't care who it is. And it seems like they're saying these situations don't end well. I haven't seen a lot of cases where, again, an elderly woman, a woman of this age, someone who's immobile, is abducted and just disappears out of nowhere. So it seems that this detective knows something that we don't know. Again, y'all see the number down there. You might not be able to see it. If you're in the area, you see this video and you've seen something, you can call 520-351-4900 and let the sheriff's department know. I hope they find this woman before the worst case scenario, because it sounds like a lot of the people we're hearing have lost hope. Dang, man. This is sad. Thank y'all for it. I see a lot of y'all saying you'll give prayers up to the family. Hopefully nothing happens. It sounds like they're all shaking their head like, Granny gone. Granny is gone. Man, I hope that's not the case. That hurts my feelings. Let me actually, what is going on with this video? Let me get this next segment in here because I want y'all to be able to see it. And oh, wow, that video actually got taken down. That's surprising. So we've got some more information I want to cover on this situation with Nancy Guthrie. Thank y'all for liking the video. I see a bunch of y'all have done that already, so thank you. And thank y'all for letting me know about the sound too. We got 1,700 of you that like the video. Lord. Shout out to the gang. Thank y'all for getting the likes. I won't ask for likes anymore in this video. I'm trying to find, that's interesting. There was one video. Let me see. There was a video that I wanted to cover that gave some more insight into what happened behind the scenes, but dang, now it's looking like they actually took that video down. I wonder what happened. So we might have to go to this one. And shout out to everybody just joining us. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate the love. Let's get this one from CBS News because it looks like they might have some more recent information. Again, I cannot imagine having to deal with this. I mean, it's one thing to have a relative who, passes or someone this age that's dealing with some health issues, but to think about them being abducted and how scared this poor woman would have been it's sad. And it seems like it may be somebody close to the situation. We'll have to find out. We're getting some new information when it comes to Nancy Guthrie's abduction. It's a sad situation here. This poor 80-year-old woman was taken from her home forcibly. They found blood at the scene. It was clear that she was taken against her will, and the family is scrambling. If y'all don't know, Nancy Guthrie is Savannah Guthrie's mother. Savannah Guthrie, as we know, is on the Today Show. She's a co-host there and has done several other events. I think we just saw her during Thanksgiving with Al Roker. Doing the Thanksgiving Day parade, the Macy's parade. It's a sad situation to see that this woman is having to go through this. And everything we're hearing it seems like they feel this is the worst case scenario and that it may not end well. We're going to hope and pray that that's not the case. Let's see what's being said here by CBS News.
Now, where the urgent search for the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie intensifies, the Pima County Sheriff's Department is now offering up to $2,500 for any information on the whereabouts of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Authorities tell CBS News they believe she was abducted from her home over the weekend while she was sleeping. They say her disappearance is being treated as a crime. Now, in an emotional post on social media, Savannah Guthrie asks followers to pray, adding, "Believe with us that she will be lifted by them in this very moment. We need you." CBS News correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti asked Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos about the ticking clock to locate Guthrie. Here's what he said.
I mean, the clock is literally ticking. It's been more than 24 hours since she disappeared. Are you concerned that it may be too late before she is found?
Wow. Look.
Don't say that. Why are they?
Want to go there? Look.
Why would they say that? That hurts my heart.
All right, CBS News reporter Andres Gutierrez is live in Tucson, Arizona for us. He's joining us right now. And Andres, what do we know about Nancy Guthrie's last known movements?
Well, Mugo, first we want to bring to you that just moments ago, the Pima County Sheriff's Office announced that they will be holding a news conference at 11:30 local time, 1:30 Eastern. My colleague Jonathan Vigliotti, who you heard there, will be in attendance to get the latest information. Hopefully, it's perhaps another development piece of detail that may be crucial to this investigation. Remember, the last couple of hours, they have been sifting through hours and hours of video evidence that they've been getting from the public. So hopefully there has been something productive from sifting through that evidence that perhaps this news conference may shed some light as to whether they have perhaps a individual or a vehicle that they may be looking for. That's obviously what we are hoping that they'll be announcing at this news conference, but we'll see. But what we do know about the last movements of Nancy Guthrie was the 84-year-old was last seen here at the house Saturday night around 9:45. It was then that relatives had dropped her off after having dinner with them. She never ended up showing to church the next morning. Her friends there called family members who ended up showing up to the property, looked around in and out around the home.
I'm sure they're looking into the person who dropped her off. No doubt.
For about an hour before ended up calling law enforcement. Deputies came out here and they found stuff inside that was so troubling that ended up turning this into a criminal case. Family members say Guthrie has limited mobility. She can't really walk more than 50 yards on her own. And besides that, she also has a life-saving medication that she depends on, and it was left behind along with her wallet, her car, as well as her phone. That phone right now being sifted through, data being extracted from that phone, hopefully shedding some light as to what her last moments at this home were. This overall is a quiet neighborhood. The houses here sit on acre lots. There is some distance in between neighbors. You could see that there is thick desert brush that ends up covering these homes. No street lights, so it is pitch black in the middle of the night. Detectives have been asking neighbors to review their home security and doorbell cameras, especially a specific time window between 1 and 4 in the morning Sunday for something that may not look out of place. A passing car, headlights in the dark, something, again, that doesn't belong. Several agencies, along with the FBI, are helping local authorities here in sifting through that video, as well as license plate data and DNA evidence. A law enforcement source close to the investigation did tell CBS News that they did find blood inside the home. It is still unclear as to who that blood belongs to. Right now, it is being tested. Tips overall coming from across the country, and the local Crime Stoppers organization here, 88 Crime, is offering a reward of up to $2,500 for any information that leads to an arrest.
Yeah, and Andres, you mentioned neighbors. So how are people where you are, how are they reacting to all of this?
Yeah, well, it's obviously very startling.
That's really sad.
They're sitting unsettling. It's a quiet residential neighborhood. Folks out here taking a hike at this point, trying to see all the hubbub that the media has shown up around here. But they're visibly shaken that, you know, this 84-year-old was taken from her home in the middle of the night. Neighbors that we have talked to, they say that they're paying close attention. They have been reviewing that video, and they're hoping for answers as this investigation continues to unfold, Mugu.
Okay. Andres Gutierrez, thank you so much for your time today.
And then we've also got this report from News Nation talking about more into what the sheriff is saying and what was said at this press conference. Man, I pray that they're wrong about this and it's the worst case scenario, because I hate to see anyone lose their life, especially in this way. He made it 84 years.
More on this investigation into the missing mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie is Pima County, Arizona Sheriff Chris Nano. Sheriff, good to have you here. You are now treating this as a crime scene. What makes you believe that this was a crime?
Well, there's a number of things there that, you know, I can't get into it all, but I would tell you that first and foremost, Miss Guthrie is she is sharp as a tack, has her wits about her. She didn't just wander off. At 84, though, she does still suffer some physical ailments that restrict her ability to move and get around. The family tells us, you know, if she could walk 50 yards on her own, that would be something, and they just don't believe it.
Her daughter dropped her off.
And when we got this call, I was advised, we get so many of these calls every year here, every day here in Tucson, where people are in the mountains hiking, or maybe they walked away from a care home. And I don't, you know, I've got such a great team of search and rescue volunteers and search and rescue team members. They just go do their work. But this one stood out just because what I was being told about the home she disappeared from. And I just felt like we're going to do our search and rescue mission. We're going to find her. But I also felt like we need to get our homicide, our criminal investigation team involved early on, because I just didn't like what I was hearing. So,
what was it about that home that ignited that instinct? Was it in disarray? Were there signs of forced entry?
Yes, everything.
You know, I can't get into that, and I apologize to everybody. I know everybody wants to know so much.
It's okay. No, we don't.
I have to protect this case, but I will say that I've been doing this 50 years, and my team would tell you my gut instinct. Sometimes I'm just wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but there's some concerns there that says, you know, typically we wait for a body to be found, and then our homicide team goes out to that body and starts their investigation. This isn't that case, and I just felt like we need them to get started early on. Let's see what we can do to get this case going, and hopefully the best happens when we do find her somewhere safe and sound. But we just can't ignore what's in front of us.
So he said they got the homicide, again, giving some insight. They got the homicide team out there all ready for this. Man.
Right.
Sad.
And Sheriff, I would never ask you to say anything that would jeopardize the investigation, but you're saying you saw something in the home that made you think that there was possibly a homicide here.
Yeah, it's what I was being told. My investigators and the search and rescue team, the officers in the field went out there, and they briefed us on some things that were really concerning to us.
There are reports out there right now that she was abducted as she slept. Did you find evidence of that?
You know, what I would tell you is that
keys in the phone were there.
She did not leave that home on her own, and that it was against her will. She didn't
You know
walk
it was
away.
against her will.
Yes, we believe that to be the case. But again, what I see there makes me believe that. Yes, ma'am.
You've also said that she was harmed as she was taken from the house. How so?
Blood.
Well, we don't know that she was harmed. We believe that there's evidence at the scene that suggests we're gathering some DNA samples to get those to our crime lab to get some rapid results and see what that leads to. But yes, it's evident to us that she was moved from that house against her will.
You know, the question, obviously, Sheriff, is why would somebody take an 84-year-old woman in the middle of her night, in the middle of the night, against her will?
It's a great question.
Have you gotten any ransom demands, any communication of any kind from somebody who might have an axe to grind against Nancy Guthrie or even her daughter?
We have not. Those are scenarios that were presented to us. First of all, we've worked with the Guthrie family. They are, as you would know, they're just devastated by this, and they're doing everything they can to help us come to some good resolution here. But we're working with different law enforcement agencies across the country, to include the FBI and our own state highway patrol teams in their labs. Here locally, 10 different agencies, all the chiefs. That's just how we do law enforcement in Southern Arizona. Everybody pitches in. And for her to Savannah's security team, we've spoken with them. And we're talking with Savannah and looking into any potential threats or any of that, and we just not. That's not getting us there. We don't. Right now, nothing indicates that to be the case.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sadly, threats are a common phenomenon for many journalists at the network level. I know I had them and have had them.
Not Savannah Guthrie,
many of my
though.
colleagues have had them. I imagine the FBI is looking into those to see if somebody meant to harm Savannah's mother as something like that.
Yeah, you know, we have a lot of information thanks to the media, and exactly what we asked them to do is put this out, and we're getting a lot of leads and a lot of information to chase down and track down and hopefully get us somewhere. But no, so far there's nothing to indicate any kind of ransom.
That's a good question.
Well, listen, obviously I'm in the middle.
You asked the very question that my team is asking. Why take this woman from her home?
Right.
Yeah.
We hope we'll find those answers through our investigative efforts in downloading some electronics and some digital cameras, whatever we can do, whether it's analytical work on cell phones, cameras, license plate readers, all of that is being done. It just takes some time. It's never fast enough.
Sheriff Chris Nanos, thank you for taking time out of what I know has been a very stressful day for everybody down there, working very hard to find Nancy Guthrie. We sure hope you get a break soon and that the news is good. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree as well. Again, such a sad situation. Prayers goes out to the Guthrie family. There's actually a news conference that is going to take place. Well, we'll say a press conference that's going to take place by Sheriff Nanos. We may hear some updates about what they found. Hopefully it's news for the best. I have a feeling if it were news for the best, we may have heard that from Savannah herself. We'll have to wait and see. And y'all know we will give you an update about that here on the channel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. Pray for the family, man. Goodness gracious. Shout out to y'all for showing the love. That press conference is set to start actually in the next 15 minutes or so. So I think we're going to let them do their thing and we'll cover it on the next show. Wow. Crazy, man. Shout out to y'all for the super chat. Shout out to my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E with the super sticker and the cake, reminding me it's lunchtime. We got to get out of here. And that she has the cakiest cake in the world, of course. Thank you, Amy. I love you and appreciate you and everything that you do. We've got my guy, Big Will Wallace, in here dropping the 10 memberships. Lord have mercy. Y'all show some love to Big Will Wallace and make sure you spam Will Wallace in the chat. If you got a membership from Will Wallace, not only say thank you, not only show him some love, but you get instant access to all the content we post here on the channel. You don't have to wait until it's scheduled. You get immediate access to that. You get access to the members only content and you get your name highlighted in that beautiful green. So big shout out to Big Will Wallace in here showing love and dropping the 10 memberships. I appreciate y'all. And thanks for helping keeping the lights on here on the show as well. Yeah, y'all are saying prayers up to everybody. Sheriff not answering questions. He's trying to keep things subtle, but he made it very clear they believe it's a homicide, which is shocking to say the least. Such a huge home. And at that stage, my mom won't live alone. It seems weird. Maybe they didn't even know who she was, but I can understand why they think that. Out of all the people, why would they pick this woman though? It just appears to me it might be something personal. Again, could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but man, very sad to see this happen. And y'all continue to pray for this woman. Even if you don't want to pray for the family, pray for this woman that she gets the medication she needs, she gets the help that she needs, and this doesn't end the way that it's seeming everyone is alleging or everyone's implying that it may. All right, I appreciate y'all. We're going to get up out of here. Thank you to all 1,800 of you that liked the video. That's crazy. Big shout out to Will Wallace for dropping the memberships over there. Y'all make sure you say thank you to Will. Big shout out to my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E for everything that she does, not just dropping the super sticker, but the support that she gives to the show, the community. And she does a lot with the production of this show. So a lot of the improvements and support that y'all see, Amy is behind that. So make sure y'all go support her as well. The link to her channel is in the description, and I'll also drop it in the chat for you as well, because Amy won't do it herself. She's just that humble. All right, y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. Subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't done that yet, so you don't miss any time we go live or drop a new video. We're dropping a ton of content a day. We're dropping like 15 videos a day, which is insane. I got to hit the air horn for that one. So make sure y'all stay locked in. I appreciate all the support. And as always, you guys know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace. And y'all stay safe out here too, man. Lock up your grannies.